Sit back and throw one back with your pinky in the air and a middle finger to the world, and join me, the eclectic gentleman Stephen Watts, as we look back on this day in pro wrestling history. But before we do, put that drink down, like, share, and subscribe, and without further ado, let's get our wrestling history on. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it is August 30th, and we're going to start off as we always do on a positive note. That's right, these are your pro wrestling birthdays. 1921, Mexico's own Miguel Torres. 1979, he's not tiny, he's not a piece of metal, it's Tiny Iron. And we're going to keep that positivity train a-rolling. That's right, these are your pro wrestling history highlights for August 30th. Jumping in the Wayback Machine and going to 1969, where we see Mad Dog and Butcher Vachon defeat Crusher and Dick the Bruiser for the AWA World Tag Team titles in Chicago, Illinois, ending Crusher and Bruiser's fourth title reign. Leaping over the 70s and going straight to the 80s, 1984. The WWF ran two events in the same day. First, Hartford, Connecticut at the Civic Center had a main event of WWF champion Hulk Hogan fighting Kamala to a double countout. The second, in the company's debut in Birmingham, Alabama, had a main event of Andre the Giant defeating Big John Studd. Grabbing my flannel and going to the decade of grunge, 1993, the WWF held their SummerSlam pay-per-view at the Palace in Auburn Hills, Michigan, with a main event of Lex Luger defeating WWF World Champion Yokozuna via countout after hitting him with a forearm that sent him outside of the ring. Post-match, there was a huge celebration, as this was the celebration and the culmination of the Lex Express bus tour that ran all the way through the summer. However, the celebration made no sense as Luger didn't win the belt, and it had been made clear that he was not going to get another title match after SummerSlam. He would eventually at WrestleMania 10. The whole push of Luger was a disaster, as he never got over the way the WWF wanted, and stars like The Undertaker and Bret Hart were still way more over than he was. Sticking in 1993, Dustin Rhodes defeats Rick Rude to reclaim the WCW United States Heavyweight title in Atlanta, Georgia. The title had been vacant since May, following a bout between the two, and several rematches were held before a clean winner took place. Leaping ahead 3 years to 1996, Sid Vicious defeats Jerry Lawler for the USWA Unified Heavyweight title in Memphis, Tennessee, starting his second reign with the gold, and ending Lawler's 23rd of 5,675. And last but not least, 1998, the WWF held their SummerSlam pay-per-view at a sold-out Madison Square Garden, with a main event of WWF champion Stone Cold Steve Austin defeating The Undertaker with a stunner after blocking The Undertaker's rope walk. Those were your short but sweet pro wrestling history highlights for August 30th. I'm the eclectic gentleman Stephen Watts, and we'll see you tomorrow.